So I stayed up late last night to watch the Angels and the A's in Oakland. Baseball have new temporary rules for 2020, and one is an extra innings rule, meaning that if the game go to extra innings, and this is strictly for the regular season only, it doesn't apply for the 2020 postseason. So if the game go into extra innings, you have a runner that automatically starts the inning on second base, and that runner is the last guy, the guy to get the last out for his team before the extra innings. And that guy for the Angels last night in extra inning was Shadeo Otani. He wasn't even aware at first. That's how new this thing is. He had to take off his warm up and he was told to get out there. He got out there. He quickly got out. The Angels could not take advantage. Olsen tracked him down because Otani missed time to run to third base. So he was in a little runoff or whatever, trying to get to third, then trying to get back to second, then try to get back to third, and Matt Olson finally tagged him out. So the A's go into the bottom half of the 10th inning, and bases loaded. Olsen with the walk-off grand slam makes history on the first day of baseball, or the A's first game of the season. So the Angels did redeem themselves earlier today. I am recording Saturday night here, and the Angels redeemed themselves earlier today with a 4-1 win. So that was a plus side for me. 58 games remaining. The Angels, just like any team, but specifically the Angels because that's my team. So they cannot afford to get off to a bad start to the season. No team can. They can't afford to get off to a bad start because this season is not just some regular season. With 60 games, this is a sprint. This is a sprint, like they've been saying. So they can't afford to get off to a bad start. They redeemed themselves today. They have 2 more games in Oakland before whoever their next opponents are. I haven't looked at the schedule yet. This is the Reed Report. I am your host, Jason Reed, and I thank you guys for taking the time to listen to me. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to share. Be sure to comment. Be sure to subscribe. Please help the channel grow. I really appreciate you guys. And before we get into the show, there's something I have to talk to you about. So my group, Black Star Investment Group, will be hosting Family Weekend Saturday, August 22nd and Sunday, August 23rd at Laney College in Oakland, California. Speaking of Oakland, this is what's going to be happening there. We will have speakers, entertainers, and vendors. Lots of vendors, food, clothes, a lot of people. I said lots of people. I'm still messing it up. Lots of people who's just going to be selling their merchandise and, trying to promote their business. So won't you guys come out and support because it's going to be an incredible event. Trust me, you do not want to miss this event. Our speakers will be covering lots of topics such as family, which is always important, relationships. We can all use one of those, youth, because they are our future, economic development that will help us get to that Patrick Mahomes type money. We got African history, we got education, health, nutrition, and of course, we're going to be talking about COVID. That will be a huge topic of discussion, especially with everything that's going on in the world, because this thing is not just affecting us in one city. It's not just affecting one state. It's not just affecting one region of the country. It's not just affecting the United States, not just the Western world, but the entire earth is going through this. And hell, who knows? Maybe Mars is experiencing some stuff right now. But that's just some of the topics. I'm sure there will be a lot more that the speakers will be covering. So be sure to get you a ticket. I'll tell you how to do that later. And you do not want to miss this event right here, people. And speaking of COVID pertaining to this event, we do understand the times that we're in right now. These are uncertain times. You've heard that many times before during this pandemic. Our event isn't exactly guaranteed, but not because we're not delivering, but because the things that are taking place in the world is out of our control. But fear not, because InstaClean will be in attendance. InstaClean will have a group of workers that's going to be walking around sanitizing all active areas. If you need a spot wiped down, all you have to do is get their attention and they will be more than happy to assist you. Don't worry, it won't be hard to recognize them. They will have shirts that will set them apart. Again, InstaClean will clean all of your concerns. So we're still planning ahead, and Laney College is still cooperating with us going forward with this event. Talked about price and getting a ticket, price of admission for this event, $20 for ages 12 and up. Trust me when I tell you, you're winning with that price. And if you purchase tickets for both days, all you have to do is pay $30, which you're still winning with. That is a really good deal. There's going to be a lot to do, a lot to be talked about. So many activities. We will have a children's zone, make sure the children are safe, make sure they're well occupied and having fun. So be sure to show up and let's get educated. Let's build and bring families together. I will have my email in the description below so you can contact me. So be sure to contact me so that you can know how to be part of something special that we have coming up. If this season had started on its regular time, I don't think I would be watching. No, I probably would, because football is not around right now and basketball would be over under normal circumstances. But I've been watching a lot of baseball teams play since Thursday, and it feels good. You know, the upside about this is these guys get to play in their own park, except the Blue Jays, and we'll talk about that. But they get to play in their own park, so it feels normal to me. Like, I know that there's no fans, but the pumped in crowd noise helps for me. So yeah, reduced games, no fans, but the one thing that haven't changed is teams are playing in their own ballpark. Some new rules for this season: you have designated hitters for both sides, the AL and the NL. Like I said before, all of these rules that they have new temporary rules just for this season only, but you know, some of that is subject to change depending on how people take to these rules and if they think it's best for the game. So like I said, new rule for designated hitters for both sides. Teams will have up to 30 active players on their opening day roster. It'll be reduced to 28 players after 2 weeks and 26 after 4 weeks of the season. The trade deadline now is August 31st. I think it was usually July 31st, but now it's August 31st. Talked about the extra innings rule. Automatically starts with a guy on second base, and it's a guy that records the last out for his team. And if that guy scores from second base, that's not count as an earned run, it's an unearned run. So it'll be in the books as if it was an error, I believe. So that's an interesting thing. And like I said before, this rule will not take effect in the postseason. It only applies in the regular season. They want to get these games done. They're trying to avoid the long innings, like last night with Oakland, and I keep getting confused because they are Anaheim, but they're calling themselves Los Angeles now. But like the A's and the Angels, that game, they played a late game last night that lasted about 3 hours, 46 minutes. If you're on the East Coast, that game started around 10. Out here it started at 7, so it ended well after midnight on the East Coast, and those two teams played again earlier today at around 1 o'clock. So luckily for them that rule was instituted, because who knows how long it could have gone. But those are just some of the rules that has changed. There are plenty more. You guys can go check that out. And yeah, let's get to it. You know, we had some games Thursday. We had the defending champions Washington Nationals open up against the prohibited favorites New York Yankees on Thursday. That game eventually rained out after 6 innings. They called it. They didn't call it immediately. I believe they waited probably an hour or two and finally called it, which is another new rule that if a game is delayed or, you know, something like that due to weather, if it's the 3rd inning and they call it, I believe they said that they will just restart the entire game. But after 6 innings, they will pick up where they left off. I'm not sure why they called the game and didn't finish it, but I know that they are just going to pick up where they left off if the game is delayed after 6 innings. Dr. Fauci, you guys know Dr. Anthony Fauci threw out the first pitch of the game, and it was funny seeing this because I always see those type of things and I say to myself, when I see people just botch the first pitch of the game, I'm like, is it really that difficult? I've never done it, so I don't know, but I see people like 50 Cent, we remember that one. I remember Carly Rae Jepsen, she threw out the first pitch at a Rays game years ago, and she just botched that pitch like really bad, just like 50, just like Dr. Fauci and a lot of other people. And I'm wondering, is it really that difficult? I want to try it now just to see if I'm being too harsh on criticizing these people or if it's really just that difficult. Yeah, but anyway, so Scherzer got the start for the Nationals, and he struck out 10 people, 10 batters. He gave up a home run to Stanton in the first inning, a 2-run home run. Judge scored, Stanton scored. Then he got things going, struck out 10 batters before the game was called. Garrett Cole started for the Yankees. He gave up a home run early, but he struck out 5 batters, got the win. Scherzer got the loss, but I would have loved to see this game go to distance. These are the same 2 pitchers who started the World Series against each other last year. and it was cool seeing them match up with each other in the opening game this season. So it was nice to see sports, nice to see baseball back. I enjoyed this. I enjoyed this game. A little bit I did get, only 6 innings. Dodgers and Yankees ended the night Thursday night. The Dodgers dominated that game 8-1. Went on to beat the Yankees. I said the Yankees. Shades of the World Series maybe. Went on to beat the Giants the next day 9-1. In the first game on Thursday, Kershaw was a late scratch, so Dustin May, the rookie, got the start, and he pitched 4 innings and gave up 1 earned run with 4 strikeouts. Giants got off to a 1-0 lead in that Thursday game. In the 3rd inning, Dodgers responded in the 4th and tied the score. Dodgers got hot in the 7th and 5 runs. They scored 5 runs in that inning. Biggest story for the Dodgers, Kershaw was a scratch. Late. He was a late scratch. I had to go and hurry up and change my DraftKings lineup because, they took Kershaw out of the game. And Mookie Betts, another big story coming into this game. He just signed the 12-year, $365 million contract the day prior. So that was a major story. Just to refresh your memory, Betts came to the Dodgers in a trade with Boston back in February, along with David Price, but Price had already said that he wasn't going to play this season because of the COVID pandemic. But Betts' contract is recognized as the richest in Dodgers history, 3rd richest in North American sports history. Garrett Cole, who played that day also for the Yankees, we talked about him earlier, the 7th richest contract in North American sports history. He signed a 9-year, $324 million contract. And of course, we know who have the richest contract in North American sports history. That's Patrick Mahomes. And coming up on the NFL season, we definitely have to get into that because I have some stuff to say about that too. So stay tuned. I'll keep you guys posted on that. But that was Thursday. So Friday, I came home and caught the end of the Braves and the Mets. The Mets won that game 1-0. The 2 teams played earlier today, and the Mets and Braves actually was the 2nd team to go into the extra innings under the new rules, and the Mets blew the game in the 9th inning. The pitcher gave up a home run. The Mets were up 2-1. Pitcher gave up the home run, tied at 2-2. Braves get the top half of the 10th inning, and they go score 3 runs and end up beating the Mets. I ended up watching the Reds and Tigers on Friday as well. Tigers got dominated by Cincinnati. It's just a show. It just goes to show you just how much I miss baseball and miss sports in general. Reds and Tigers are 2 teams, nothing personal, but I can assure you that as the season goes on, I will not be paying that much close attention to Detroit and Cincinnati. Blue Jays still doesn't have a home this year because they are banned from Canada, of course, because of that nasty Rona that's going around. Their first quote-unquote home game is supposed to be next week, July 29th, when they take on the Nationals, defending champions Nationals, Washington Nationals. So it was discussed that they were going to be sharing a park with the Pirates, but the governor said no. And of course, this is also because of the increase of outbreaks in the state of Pennsylvania. Minor league teams are not playing this year. So the thing that I don't understand is, why can't the Blue Jays just play in Buffalo or New Hampshire? They have minor league affiliates in those cities. Not to mention, they also have a team in Florida, but of course we know that there's an uptick there. But Florida, I think Florida for the most part is open. There is an uptick there, but Florida the governor is definitely allowing much more things to take place in Florida. But anyway, they have a team in Lansing, Michigan. Of course, I think there's another uptick of cases there. The Bluefield Blue Jays play in West Virginia. They are an affiliate of the Toronto Blue Jays. I never even knew that was a city until now, but the Bluefield Blue Jays. Why can't the Toronto Blue Jays play in West Virginia? I would love to see how these ballparks look. I don't know if MLB thinks no, it's not suitable for a major league team to be playing because the ballparks doesn't look professional, but hopefully they can get something worked out because it seems so tacky to me to have the season in progress and the Blue Jays still doesn't have a place to play for as a temporary home. They go home, quote unquote home, July 29th, but it just seems so weird to me. Like how can they not have a place to play? Pray for Toronto, man. Pray for the Jays because they need a home. They need a home. Blue Jays Friday beat Tampa Bay 6-4, and I'm sure for Tampa with this whole Corona thing and no fans, this is normal for them because they're probably used to not having fans in attendance. I couldn't help myself. I had to say it. I'm pretty sure everyone else was thinking it if they were paying attention to the Tampa Bay Rays today. You know, they always have the lowest attendance of fans in attendance during regular times. But anyway, got off topic there. Indians defeated the Royals 2-0. Cubs over Brewers 3-0. I believe the Brewers got their win back today. Like I said earlier, I watched the Reds and Tigers since he dominated that game 7-1. And I know I said I wasn't going to watch the Reds and Tigers this year. Those are just two teams that I would not be paying close attention to. But I will say this. I'm hearing a lot about the Reds this year. They have a young, talented, up-and-coming squad, and people have high hopes for them. We got a new playoff system. We're going to talk about that later, so could be. I may be paying attention to the Reds after all, so we'll see. Marlins defeated the Phillies 5-2. Phillies got their win back today. Red Sox dominated Baltimore 13-2. Last time I looked, Baltimore was winning that game. They probably, knowing them, they probably went on to blow it and lose, but I don't know. Red Sox didn't even hit a home run in Friday's opener. That just goes to show how bad Baltimore is and how bad they will be all season long. I caught the end of the Rangers and Rockies game today. Rockies got their win back after losing 1-0 Friday. Twins over White Sox Friday 10-5. White Sox got their win back. I believe the score was flipped today, if I'm not mistaken. White Sox 10-5 today. Astros over Seattle 8-2. San Diego over Arizona 7-2. The Dodgers continued their dominance. I talked about that earlier. This was Friday. They beat the Giants 9-1, but the Giants won a close 5-4 game today. So that game is Dodgers 2, Giants 1. I believe it's a 4-game series. So yeah, Angels got their win back against the A's today. A's beat them Friday. So they're now split 1-1, and we'll see what happens from there. Earlier, we talked about Family Weekend in Oakland next month, August 22nd and August 23rd, which is a Saturday and Sunday. But speaking of Saturday, we will have a Flow fashion show that will headline that day, hosted by my boy Lorenzo Grayson, owner of Flow, aka Future Leaders of the World. Of course, he's going to be showing off his wear, and he's going to have some outstanding models to help him do so. What is Flow? Flow is a brand that represents what we truly aspire to be. Purpose of Flow is to promote leadership skills through fashion. If you haven't seen his merchandise, you should definitely head to his website at www.flowcreations.net. Check out my brother's site, and while you're there, copy some merchandise. Again, that's www.flowcreations.net. We were out networking the other day, and we came across some people at Lake Marriott in Oakland who also do fashion and who also design clothes, and they signed up and wanted to be part of the Flow fashion show. So we got them signed up, and you can sign up and be a part of it as well. You can be a model. Just shoot Lorenzo a DM on Instagram at Flow Create. That's FLOWCREAT. Shoot him a DM, let him know that you would be interested, and he can get you all set up, and let's do it. Like I said, let's build, let's bring families together, and let's make this event one to remember. So Major League Baseball has expanded the playoffs to 16 teams, and this is just for the 2020 season as well. We've been saying that a lot today, a lot of temporary, but this could be one of those things that they adopt permanently going forward, especially with new TV money coming in. So it'll be 8 teams from each league, just like in the NBA, and also seeding style, just like the NBA. 4 rounds, as per usual. Top 3 seeds will be awarded to the 3 division winners. So that's not like the NBA, because winning your division in the NBA doesn't guarantee you home court throughout the first round. And if you don't believe me, just go ask the 2018, from 2 years ago, go ask the Orlando Magic, who were the 7th seed. So seeds 4 through 6 will be awarded to the teams that finish second place in their division. Seeds 7 and 8 will go to the teams with the next best record, regardless of division, place, or standings. And I think, with this new playoff system, there's no reason for a team like the Angels not to not make the playoffs this year. So like the NBA, it will be 8 versus 1, 7 versus 2, 6 versus 3, 4 versus 5. Major League Baseball is referring to this as the wild card round, and it'll be a best of 3. Like that MLB is doing away with the additional game in case of a tie, to crown the team that will be the wild card team in case, two potential wildcard teams tie, division winners. They're doing away with that this year, that extra game. And I've never been a fan of that additional 163rd game because I just see it as you're playing 162 games a year and you have 76 division games a year, I believe. And why do you feel the need to play an extra game to break a tie? With so many games, you just played a grueling 6-month schedule, and all you have to do is just say, all right, who had the best head-to-head record against each other? Okay, that doesn't work. Who had the best division record? Who had the best strength of schedule, most runs scored, most, something like that. I just don't feel the need to play an extra game when you have so many potential tie-breaking scenarios you can bring into it. But I like that they're instituting that, not doing that additional game. I hope that that's something that they adopt going forward because it's really not necessary, but I digressed on that. But like I said, with a short season, 60 games, teams can get hot. Teams can get hot, and those teams are probably not necessarily good teams. They just had a great 60-game stretch or so. Because usually, of course, you're playing 162, and not only can you just get hot after 60 games, but we have an expanded playoffs, and that bodes well for a lot of teams. A lot of teams have the potential and the chance to make it into this temporary playoff system, which I think will be adopted permanently going forward. Teams like Baltimore, Kansas City, or like Miami probably don't have a chance. They look like they're going to be really bad teams, but it's wide open for a lot of teams. And you can just ask the Washington Nationals. They started the 2019 season. They didn't start well, but they got hot. And I know that I'm talking about getting hot and then probably just not really being good, but you were fortunate enough to benefit from a short season, a sprint of a season. But Washington last year started the season 19-31, ended up recovering from that. Plus they lost Bryce Harper. They managed to bounce back and go 93-69 overall. Didn't win the division, but they did go into the wild card round. They beat the Brewers, and then they upset the Dodgers in the ALDS, beat LA in 5, dominated the Dodgers, who came in with the best record in baseball for probably the third year in a row, coming off back-to-back World Series, and they just got dominated. They won 106 games in 2019. So they beat down the Dodgers in 5, then they took out the Cardinals in 4, and you can honestly consider that some get back from the 2012 ALDS when the Cards beat the Nats in 7. Washington had that game won, but ended up losing it 9-7 after being up 6-2. So I think that was just a series 7 years in the making, and Washington finally got theirs back. It was a tough loss too. They were at home, they had the lead, and they blew it. It was the franchise's first time in the playoffs as the Washington Nationals, because you remember prior to that, they were the Montreal Expos. And it's worth noting that not only did the Nationals get revenge on the Cardinals, but the last time they were in the playoffs as the Expos was 1981, and that team lost to the Dodgers in the NLCS. So, and they also lost to the Dodgers in 2016, but they finally got their revenge last season on that team as well. And that right there, what I just ran down, is just a little lesson on revenge, kids, which is a dish best served by patiently waiting. After beating the Cards, they would go on to beat the Houston Astros in 7 games. So Washington, to me, is just an example of the field being wide open if you just make it to the dance. Of course, there are 2 teams that I think are heavy favorites, and we know who those teams are. But we do have 8 spots in each league, and I'm just going to run down the teams I think will be the 16 teams to make the playoffs in this expanded playoff season, not a regular season, only 60 games there. But I'm going to start in the National League, and I'm going to go from 8 to 1. And starting at 8, I got the Atlanta Braves. They're going to slide this year. I think if we were on a normal schedule, I don't think the Braves would make it to the playoffs, but they can make this field right here. I'm taking the Cubs to get the 7th spot. The Cubs have been regressing over the past couple years. Last year, they were a wild card team. I think that there's definitely some stuff going on there. Probably not, in front office or anything like that, but I just think, as a team, the talent is starting to just regress a little bit there. So I think the Cubs will still be good enough to get the 7th seed. Another team I don't think would make the playoffs this year if we were on a normal schedule. 6, I'm going to give it to Arizona. 5, I believe the Nationals, the defending champions, will grab that spot. 4, I'm going to say the Cardinals. I'm going to give the Phillies the 3 seed. I think they're going to get better and win that division. There's a lot of expectation there, and I'm going to give it to the Phillies. I think this is the year that they finally get back into the playoffs. It's been since, I believe, 2011, the last time Philadelphia made the playoffs. So I think they get back this year, and I think that they're going to be a surprise team. 2, I'm going to give to the Brewers, and of course, it's not a secret. Number 1 will be the Dodgers. I got the Dodgers claiming the 1 spot because they are the best team in the league still, in the National League, that is. So they're going to be the 1 seed there. As for the American League, let's run down the teams that are going to be in the playoffs according to the Reed Report. 8 seed, I believe, will go to the young and talented Chicago White Sox from the South Side. Stand up. 7 seed, I believe, will go to the Angels. This team should be in the playoffs. There should be no excuses this year. It's an expanded playoffs. They're always in the hunt every year, but always seem to just crumble at the end and just officially take themselves out of it. So I believe they're good enough to get the 7th seed. You know, they could be higher, but I don't think they're better than Oakland or Houston. So Angels 7 seed. 6 seed will go to the Indians, another team that I just see that has been regressing, you know, since that 2016 World Series, since they blew that 3-1 lead. They've been regressing since, still making it to the playoffs, but just haven't been the same since then. 5 seed, I'm at the 5 seed now. I believe the A's will get that spot. I still don't think they're better than Houston, but I think they're good enough to get the 5 seed and probably just lose out on the division. 4 seed will go to the Red Sox. There's no denying how talented they are, but they're still cheaters. I'm talking about Houston, the Astros. They will be the 3 seed, and I think that, you know, with no fans in attendance, it could really, you know, benefit them in terms of being able to play clear-minded with no distractions, because if they were, you know, to go on the road and this were a normal season, it probably could have, you know, distracted them and hurt them, because people were going to heckle them, and they were going to, you know, be forced to feel it, because no one in baseball can and will ever get over what they did, you know, in terms of the cheating. So I think Houston will be the 3 seed. They are a talented team, and I think at the end they will still win the American League West. 2 seed will go to the Twins. They are much improved. I think they will dominate the American League Central, but they still have that one roadblock that they can never get over. You got 3 things in life that are guaranteed when it comes to the Twins: death, taxes, and getting beat by the Yankees in the playoffs. They still have to learn to just win one playoff game against the Yankees. And of course, the 1 seed will go to the Yankees, and deservingly so. They are the best team in the American League, probably the best team in baseball. They, like the Dodgers, will be the top seeds in the American and National League. My prediction for the World Series this year, I'm taking the best 2 teams from each league. I don't usually do that. I try to avoid doing that because I like to go out on the limb, but this year just feels like a no-brainer. It feels like the Yankees and Dodgers are just on a collision course to meet each other, and I think it's going to happen. LA versus New York in the World Series this year, and I'm taking the Dodgers to beat the Yankees. I think the Dodgers pitching will overcome the Yankees power hitting at the end, and the Dodgers will win their first championship since 1988. I'm taking the Dodgers. That's my pick, and I'm sticking with it. So thank you guys for hearing me out on this Saturday evening. It's a late recording. I intended to do this earlier, but I had to do Bible study and church things. So I do plan on coming back probably after the NBA games this upcoming Thursday. We got Lakers Clippers, and then we got Jazz Pelicans. So I'm really looking forward to that. I want to give my immediate thoughts. So I might, it's very slim, I might record something right before that, but I doubt I will. I just want to put that out there just in case I do. But thank you guys for hearing me out. Be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and until next time, hey, let's get it. Sports is back, baby.